and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. It's been a while, but with the Patreon-sponsored extravaganza over and the schedule finally getting better, at least, we can finally return to some ongoing series we haven't talked about in a while. Even if they haven't been great. Last time on Godzilla, Kingdom of Monsters, things were actually turning around in the book. The series that began as really lame satire of pop culture ephemera that annoyed the creators instead became a story of survival for Sergeant Woods, a grumpy veteran mad that celebrities got more attention than him, and Allie, a child whose family was killed by all the giant monsters running around. The grizzled dad figure protecting a child as they travel a harsh world is a well-worn trope by now, but honestly it's because it's one that really works. And in this case, while Godzilla defeated King Ghidorah, Sergeant Woods was busy fending off wolves and scavengers while trying to protect Allie's innocence from the violence he's had to inflict. Still, he got bitten by a snake and the venom caused him to pass out for a bit, only to be awoken by Allie as she reports that they have some nearby shelter, namely the disabled Mecha Godzilla. They enter the robot and Woods activates it, bringing us to today's issue. So let's dig into Godzilla, Kingdom of Monsters number 9, and see if this series can continue to improve.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. What's with these awkward subjects? What's all this art so rubbish? To anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he is a man, punch, sporadically a grouch. Linkara, he has his own spaceship, but he's always on his couch. Linkara, ghosts, gods, a universe in flux. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Reading from a trade, so we'll skip the cover. Though that's pretty easy when neither the main cover nor the variant cover have anything to do with the contents. There is no submarine in the book, and Gigan never appears in it. We open on a spider attacking and killing an ant. Humans have been the dominant species on this planet for thousands of years. No one would have expected the rise of the gophers. Since the beginning, we moved and expanded unfettered. Nothing was out of reach. And even if it was...
Introducing Grab It, the ingenious new tool that grabs where you can't reach.
Death and disease were our only enemies, the only things that could halt our progress. Death and disease fought back with spurious copyright claims, slowing progress to a crawl. Until the day when a new threat emerged from the ocean. The great SpongeBob invasion had begun. Now our dominance has ended, and we are forced to walk in the shadow of giants. Sucks that we're not the dominant force anymore, but at least we get a nice shady spot. I joke, but I do like the simple yet effective visual of this, the spider being supreme, until something much bigger and incomprehensibly more powerful than it smushes it without a thought. It's of course exactly the situation humanity is in with the kaiju. Mind you, the metaphor is a little lost because it doesn't mention, so we decided to build our own robot giants so we could cast our own shadow again too. In any case, Allie is on a hill while Sergeant Woods is in Mecha Godzilla, the girl running down with a bunch of flowers in a wreath. Giving Mecha Godzilla a flower crown is a great idea, Allie, but I don't think you've quite figured out the scale yet. She asks Woods if he's getting the hang of controlling Mecha Godzilla. Starting to. Still a lot of buttons and switches to play with. And we don't want a repeat of when I accidentally shot missiles into that forest. Guess bald eagles are endangered again. Not sure how they're talking to each other. I guess Mecha Godzilla could have an external microphone and he'd likely have some kind of speaker for calling to people outside the thing. But you'd think given the scales and how far away they are that they need, like, an open hatch that they're screaming at each other through. I could use an extra set of hands up here. As a little girl, I know you've always wanted to operate a death ray, Allie. He brings her to the opening and to some stairs to lead her to the control room. Incredible, isn't it? It's got a seat warmer and a big gulp cup holder. They thought of everything important, Allie! Woods' monster detector starts beeping and Allie says they should probably get going. However, Woods is tired of running and has decided to use Mecha Godzilla to fight back. spotting Anguirus approaching. We cut over to the underground bunker in Washington, D.C., where President Ogden is stressfully rubbing his eyes. Someone runs in. "Mr. President, sir, I'm sorry, but this better be good. Half the internet is down, and I don't know how much longer my favorite porn sites will stay up, so make it quick." The guy reports that Mecha is back online, someone having gotten inside and initiated its manual controls. The fight between Mecha and Anguirus begins, if you can call it that. After Anguirus leaps at him, Mecha seems to just kind of shove him into the dirt with one hand in this panel. Anguirus is seemingly knocked out here. I don't know if this is so much a glass jaw as it is a Dorito jaw. As our heroes are talking about leaving, they don't notice Anguirus getting up and leaping right at them. Once again, giant monsters are apparently gifted with a stealth mode, or at least the softest footwear that makes it impossible to hear them approaching. Anguirus cannonballs into Mecha, the impact forcing Allie to get a bump on her head and knocking her out. Fortunately, Woods is able to activate some of the weapons, launching a bunch of missiles into Anguirus and either killing him or at least definitely knocking him out this time. Woods manages to get Allie awake. "Did we win? How much XP was that worth? And did you get solo, or did it split it between us?" She asks once more if they can leave, and he's happy to agree to that. Back over to the bunker, Ogden talks to the scientists. "I need an update, people. Let's hear some good news for once." Well, Linkara released Wave 2 of the Atop the Fourth Wall action figures, so I'd say that's some good news. Available at his store Envy at this link, or click the link in the description. And they're still shipping out despite the giant monster apocalypse! The news from the rest of the world is grim. Moscow's infrastructure has been completely destroyed, and they've lost contact with them 2 hours ago, same as London. The only good news is that the monsters that were attacking Paris have retreated. Unfortunately, the French government takes this as a snub and begins a massive tourism campaign to encourage the monsters to return. The scientists are unable to make contact with Mecha because of all the damage to it, though upon reflection, I'm not sure how it even turned off. Last we saw it, Mecha had lost control and started attacking Atlanta. In any case, Ogden says that Mecha is their only chance of turning things around, so they need to establish contact with it. We get a slight repeat of our earlier visual metaphor of squishing bugs, though in this case it's our giant robot walking through the woods and forcing some grizzly bears to flee. Though I think the artist may have confused bears with wild boars given some of these shots. Inside the cockpit, "I have no idea what any of this means." "That makes 2 of us, girl."
PC load letter? What the fuck does that mean?
Mecha automatic sensors detect Godzilla nearby, and Woods is clearly pissed. "What's a Godzilla? Is that one of the monsters?" "Yes, Allie. Godzilla is a monster. He embezzled so much money from retired people." She asks how he knows, and he recounts the time he encountered Godzilla. "I lived with my mother and father in a small city in Northern California. Godzilla was the worst landlord we ever had. Being in the military kept me away from home a lot. I was 4 miles from home when it happened. Just 4 miles. My GPS lost power. I'm helpless navigating without it." He saw Godzilla directly. "I couldn't believe my eyes. No words could describe it." No, of course it was that Godzilla came and annihilated the town, possibly even used his thermonuclear breath on it given this artwork. "Everything I knew and loved was gone in an instant. On the bright side, I didn't have to pay back that loan I got from my parents. They actually charged interest on it!" Allie hugs him, sorry about what happened to his family. "Do you think you can beat it?" "I don't think I can do it alone. You up for the challenge?" She smiles. "That's my girl. Now get that mop and bucket and clean this thing like your life depended on it!" Back at the bunker, the scientists are finally able to connect to Mecha internal systems, thanks to a radio transmitter on it that's intended to broadcast an emergency alert to local stations if it was approaching. "Can you open a comm link and patch me through to the driver?" "Opening one now, sir." "Let's hope whoever's controlling the thing is on our side." Sorry, sir. Looks like they're already negotiating a trade deal with Godzilla." Back in Mecha, while he said he needs her help, Woods actually has instructed Allie on what to do if things go badly. Pull the emergency eject lever as hard as she can and run like hell. Yeah, I was going to criticize the decision to take a child into battle against Godzilla, especially after she already took an injury during the fight with Anguirus, but at least he's sensible enough to tell her how to get the hell out of there. Ogden appears on screen and asks who he's talking to. "This is Sergeant Stephen Woods, 1st Battalion out of Sacramento, Mr. President. And considering how badly this fight has gone, sir, I have to say, I really wish I had voted for Anton York." Ogden tells him he needs to bring the robot back to Detroit for debriefing and repair, but Woods says he can't do that. "I have something I need to take care of first, sir. Something personal. That oil change coupon was still within date, and yet the car place still wouldn't honor it. Well, We'll see if they'll honor it now! Son, I don't know if you understand what's going on out there, or the importance of that weapon you're driving, but as a soldier in the United States Army, you will obey that direct order I just gave you and bring that weapon back to Detroit. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, Mr. President. Let's talk about universal basic income for a second, and I'll think about it. He also warns him that they can detect both Godzilla and another unidentified monster in their vicinity. He orders him to avoid confrontation with any of the monsters on their way back. And so our comic ends with Woods saying that it might be a little late for that, as we see that he is already directly in front of Godzilla and the corpse of Ghidorah from last issue. Alright, you ugly bastard. Let's finish this. There are still 3 more issues of this series, Woods. Anyway, this comic is okay. Once again, the book is turning itself around. Less parody, more serious. Sure, there's plenty of room for different kinds of stories in Godzilla, but the parody wasn't funny so much as it was just mean-spirited against people the creators didn't like. Sure, the story isn't breaking any new ground here, but it's more entertaining and I'm more invested in what's happening. Honestly, my criticisms on this one are, aside from the pacing of the entire series, more on the art side. Stylized people are fine, but the fight scenes leave a little something to be desired. The lack of a back and forth, or at least a beatdown until the last desperate blast from the missiles, and Anguirus seemingly just killed by a few missiles seems weak. And just little stuff like that here and there. It's not horrendous, but it feels like we could have been a lot better than what we see. It also feels like there's way too much empty space in spots. Just a lot of page area that feels like it could have had something in it, if even just some detailing or stuff in the distance, when so much else on the page is detailed. Maybe it was to keep the art from being too busy? I don't know. Next time, back to getting caught up on Patreon-sponsored episodes, and we've got another game review for something everybody already knows about. Undertale. Why does Godzilla's front shot in the last panel look more like a mandrill? Hello my friends, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications on new video releases. If you'd like to support future videos, you can check out my Patreon, buy merch from the store envy link in the description, or check out the t-shirts available from Fourth Wall. Thanks for watching!